Back in our lane with the movie reviews.
Oh, we're actually doing movies today, right now? Okay, I thought we were going to talk about where Aaron Rodgers is going.
Maybe next week.
All right.
All right, now let's hop into it. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nightcap. Back in black and white.
Welcome back in black and white.
Yep, we're back doing movies again, guys. We had a little hiatus there in December, January with the with sports reviews and stuff like that, which was fun. But this feels more like home, Al. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Always could go back home again.
So we're gonna get into a little bit of the WAU, as I call it, Wes Anderson universe. You ready for this?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm ready because you reeled me in again. He's like, hey, let's give the people what they want. I kind of doubt this is what the people want, but hey, why not?
Hey, there's some people, right? Let's give some people what they want, all right? A subset of people. It's all right. But we're going to be getting into the French Dispatch versus the Royal Tenenbaums. And, where did these kind of line up here in Wes Anderson's filmography? Which one's better? We're going to go toe-to-toe with the gradings, breaking each movie down, and at the end, total up and see which one comes out on top. But if this is your first time watching the show here, I'm going to go ahead and put our grading system right now so you can follow along, see how we break down movies category by category, and then with an overall score. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and leave us a comment below too. Always let us know what you guys think. And if you're so interested, I'll go ahead and put up our Instagram as well so you can follow us there. And if you got any fire memes, send them over. All right. We'll get them out to the
Dank memes. Send them over.
Dank memes, right? Like it's 2016. All right. But we got a lot to dive into today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Get into the plots first. The French Dispatch versus the Royal Tenenbaums. The French Dispatch is an interesting movie, right? The way he breaks this movie up. And just in case you guys haven't seen either of these, just warning you guys right now, spoiler alert, getting into the French Dispatch. It's a really interesting setup, right? It's an American newspaper
in fictional town of France. And it's totally absurd, but that's Anderson's MO, right?
Exactly. Right. And he kind of breaks the movie down in like 3 vignettes, 3 different stories as they would be, publicated in the newspaper. And it was different. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And I was actually, even watching the trailer, I was like, I don't know about this one. But you know what? I got to say, once the movie starts, it kind of sucked me in and it worked for me. I thought it was interesting.
Okay. What score did you end up giving that one?
Give it a 6.
Okay. Very generous.
That was an ambitious score. And I thought he actually pulled it off, which really, we'll get into that later. But I thought
I give it a 4.
Okay.
And I just gave it a 4 just because it is ambitious of being an anthology for one movie. So I'll give him that. But, nothing tickled my fancy about this movie.
All right, here we go. Al being Al. All right. He's already in character.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Beaming glasses on and everything. All right. Well, let's get into the Royal Tenenbaums, right? We got the estranged father trying to reconcile with his family. It's, 3 disillusioned youths. Sort of, right? They're all grown up at this point in their lives. And then his ex-wife now getting ready to get remarried.
Yes.
This one right here, I thought it was okay. I mean, it's not, very much of a big arc. It's more character driven than the plot, unlike the other movie, which, has like these 3 plot lines going on. So I give it a 5. I thought it was fine. He kind of ties into the 3 kids there and they each get their time to shine and tell their like little stories. But I just thought it was okay.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 also. I just felt that this movie, the plot just had more character in it than a lot of Anderson's new movies. The new movies are seen, I don't want to say cookie cutter, but there's a formula to it. While this one was like one of his earlier films and he just felt a little bit more loose.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there. He's definitely his kind of became his own style. It's very heavy now, but let's get into the production. Now on this one here, you got to give it to the French Dispatch. I mean, This is him. This is like the GOAT in his prime right now. I mean, his style is so heavy, it's so recognizable at this point. He's almost a satire of himself.
I was about to say that.
He still does it better than anybody else. No one can touch it. And you got everything. The choreography of just all the way that the movie pieces in each scene and the way the cinematography works. Always great music. I mean, I don't know. I give it an 18 out of 20.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. I gave it an 18 also. All right.
Okay, so I definitely.
Yeah. I haven't quite sold out yet.
Okay.
I really like his symmetry, his symmetrical, whatever you want to say, of all his shots. I could really appreciate that. I like his 60s color palette, Art Deco, like that. So yeah, and I like that he threw in a little bit, a little something different. He threw in a little cartoon like little piece there. So I'll give it an 18 also.
Yeah, it's really done really well. And I mean, like I said, his style is definitely heavy-handed and a little indulgent at times, but you can't, it's undeniable the charm of it. I mean, that's pretty much 80% of his stuff right now is that. Getting to the Royal Tenenbaums, this is a lot earlier in his filmography, and he's still kind of nailing down that, but a lot of the elements are still there. Still heavy with the music and the little slow motion parts here and there to kind of set up these characters. The cinematography is not as ambitious, but it's good. It's fine. Overall, I ended up giving it a 16.
Whew, I gave the production a 16 for Royal Tenenbaums as well, mostly for the soundtrack. The soundtrack on this was excellent. And like you said, it wasn't quite how it's still his style. All right. But it's not turned up to 11, how French Dispatch
that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. French Dispatch, Grand Budapest Hotel. It's not turned up like that, but you could still tell it's his style, even though I think this was his second film. I don't know if you want to correct me on that.
I know this is actually like his third. Yeah. I think he might even have a short film before that, but yeah, this is his third. This is right after Rushmore and before
Bottle Rocket. Bottle Rocket was his first.
And then Rushmore, this one, and then Steve Zissou, The Life Aquatic. But okay, cool. So we're honestly, so far, I thought you were going to bring a little bit harsher. Maybe you're reeling me in a little bit. Do a little rope a dope right now, trying to get me into the rope. Yeah, I'm waiting for it because he was talking a lot of shit, all right. He's talking a lot of shit in text messages. Let's just get it out there. It's called spade a spade. All right. So I'm over here. I'm like, okay, where's this coming from? All right. Let's get into the performances. Now, Wes Anderson is notorious for using the same actors throughout his movies. And literally throughout all the movies. So you got this, the same cast of characters kind of playing in and out. There's obviously some differences here. The Wilson brothers, actually Owen's in French Dispatch too. I'm trying to think who's a little bit different here. Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
What about Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman. Yeah, he's great in
I'll get into that.
Oh, but all right. So in terms of actually the performances for me, In the French Dispatch, it's really about Del Toro and Léa Seydoux, their characters, their story. I thought that was really the best of the three stories in general.
Oh, absolutely.
And, not that the other ones were bad, but that one had the most heartfelt. And they were kind of like these two kind of sad, tragic characters, which is, to be honest, a lot of his movies are kind of like that. They always have this like heavy nostalgia, with absurdity, like in Regal Din. Like right when you start to take it like too serious, he always just hits you with like some slapstick stuff to kind of break it up. But I thought they both did good, and Adrian Brody again back too.
Absolutely,
he was excellent in it as well. Timothy Chalamet, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing his
guy from Dune.
Yeah, I thought he was the guy from Dune. Paul Atreides I thought he did a good job too. Owen Wilson was good, but who's kind of missing for me in this one is really Bill Murray. Like he's in a weird way the central character, but then doesn't really get his time to shine.
No, because he was like, you could almost say he's the main character because he's the head of this newspaper, but he took a back seat. Like he was just the main character on paper, but not on the actual screen.
Right. As the narrator says, he kind of coddles his writers. And that's really what you kind of see throughout there. He's just kind of supporting them on their stories and their eccentricities. But overall for acting, I ended up giving it for the French Dispatch 22. And actually I ended up matching it with the Royal Tenenbaums as well. I give them both 22. And the Royal Tenenbaums, it's really all about Gene Hackman for me. I mean, he really carries it. He's such a despicable character, but you like him because all the other characters are just so morose and it's just so high strung, like Ben Stiller playing Ben Stiller. I always thought Gwyneth Paltrow was kind of wooden. I don't know. She's not very charming to me. But she plays the role well.
She plays it well.
Bill Murray is hilarious to me as the thugged husband in this, but I digress. But overall, I thought it was both of the stories too. It's really, you can always hear Wes Anderson's writing really coming through all the characters, right? His voice is just like, because his overly verbose style, it's so recognizable. You can just hear it coming out through all of them. And they're really kind of like, I don't want to say they're interchangeable, but Gene Hackman, I felt just did the most. It really, if you
absolutely,
if you put the two movies together, he really does the most. It makes it his, right?
Absolutely. Like for the acting in the French Dispatch, it's almost like the French Dispatch, Grand Budapest is his, later on movies. I don't want to say they're all acting the same, but it seems like he's telling them, hey, act as dry and as not boring, but as like, dry and sarcastic as possible. All of them across the board. Yeah. So it's like you said, they're almost interchangeable. If you told me French Dispatch was just Grand Budapest Part 2, the sequel, okay, because it looks the same. It's the same characters pretty much. They're all acting the same. So the acting I gave 19, and all from that because I would have given it lower, except that I really enjoyed Adrian Brody. He was actually really good in this one, just like he was really good in Grand Budapest also. And I gave it a 19, and they had Christoph Waltz in here, and they didn't even use him.
There's so many actors, right?
Yeah,
there's so many actors.
Huge...
If there's one criticism, I'll say a little bit about his newest movies, and I'll agree with you on this. Star-studded, the more the merrier, seems to be the theme. Mm-hmm. But I kind of miss the older ones a little bit, where you got a little bit of a chance to really get each character just a little bit more time with them, so you can kind of bond with them a little bit.
Yeah,
if that can make a criticism. Everyone does great in their little cameos to come in and out, but obviously, the more time you get to spend with the character, their arc gets to develop more. You get to kind of connect with them a little bit more. And when there's like 20 different actors, all big names, every one of them on there, it's kind of hard to sometimes.
Yeah, and that's where it differs from the Grand Budapest. Maybe it was because on acting there, I gave it a 24 just because it had more character, it had more heart. It had Gene Hackman, who absolutely killed it, and he just showed more character. It wasn't if Gene Hackman was in French Dispatch, it would have been totally different. Just even because I'm sure Anderson would have been like, "Don't act like that. Don't act like a character. Act like boring and sarcastic and dry." Okay. So I gave it a 24 just because it had more heart. It had more of this. It had more of this, Steve. All right. More heart.
I hear what you're saying a little bit. I think your numbers are a little bloated a little bit on that one. Don't get me wrong. He does pretty good. He carries it. But I just think the problem is that he's carrying it. Whereas like the other characters, they just don't have that same charisma on the screen,
It just had more personality. Like this movie just had more personality than the French Dispatch, just the way that they acted in it. It was because I felt more loose. It wasn't as structured as his newest films where he has to have like the Wes Anderson style, which I believe he's really paying himself into a corner, because that means he can't deviate from the style of French Dispatch. He can't deviate away from like Grand Budapest or, Wes Anderson stands like yourself will be up in arms. Like this doesn't feel like a Wes Anderson movie. So he better watch himself. You better watch yourself, Wes Anderson.
A veiled threat of Wes Anderson right now. He's probably hiding. He's probably tightening his scarf right now, right? As he prances around
Ascot.
France, right? Exactly. All right. Well,
sorry, what a rant right there.
Speaking of the devil, let's get into directing right now. All right. So, I mean, in terms of the two movies here, I'll just come out with my scores right now. French Dispatch, I gave it 25, and the Royal Tenenbaums, I gave it 24. It really, in the French Dispatch, he's just got it nailed. I mean, everything that's going on. There's a lot. The action, the liners are quick hitting. Scenes jumping around. Once again, I talk about just the choreography of just all the characters moving around. I think of the one scene when they're the French revolutionaries, the students are like in the cafe, and you can see them all outside moving in and out. He like pans over, and they're almost. I think another YouTube channel I talked about. They're almost synced to the music, like in terms of their cues, and it's kind of masterful, to be honest with you. And the way he kind of directs it all. And also in this movie too, it's more the plot itself playing out with these. It's not as big of a character arc. I agree with you on that in terms of the Royal Tenenbaums, but in terms of his directing and his skill set here, I mean, he's really wrung this out as far as he can. Now, I will agree with you. I hope in the future stuff, he pushes it a little bit more, maybe takes it to a different time period or something like that, because I kind of feel like he's kind of wrung out this Euro, like his kind of Eurocentric idea, right? With the Grand Budapest, and now with this one, maybe bring it back a little bit, kind of like the Tenenbaums or Rushmore back to the US, and maybe a little bit more up to date in terms of the time period. That'd be cool. Maybe something in the 90s. That'd be pretty rad. But I think he nailed it. And Tenenbaums, it's good. It's good too. Yeah. I mean, there's both of these movies are hilarious to me. Just my sense of humor. Maybe it's just my dry sense of humor, but there are so many good liners in these. That's really where a lot of the gold is too. Just in his writing, the kind of the passing phrases they give to one another, and like I said, it's just so straight faced. You can easily slide past you. Let me see. One of the liners I had on there was in the first half where Owen Wilson's doing his like kind of beat writer shtick. He talks about the marauding choir boys, half drunk on the blood of Christ, stock wearing parishioners, and you see him attacking some old lady. Like there is so many liners like that are just classic and just got me rolling. And then the Royal Tenenbaums when Gene Hackman and Danny Glover are going at it in the kitchen. I'm not even going to try to repeat it because I'll probably get canceled. All right.
Oh yeah,
but it's hilarious.
Want to talk some jive? We'll talk some jive.
What you call me?
Look at here, Coltrane.
The best part is, what does he say? He's like, I didn't say that, but if I did,
all right,
nothing you would do about it.
I'm going to disagree with you on the directing for the French Dispatch, just because it's getting tiresome. I gave it a 20, just because with my rant that I should have saved for the directing. I'm done. I'm over it, man. As he's become a satire of himself. Like, at least in the Royal Tenenbaums, his directing was still fresh. It was still fresh. Like it felt more loose. He felt more loose. It's not structured like how his last few movies are, where it had to be shot like this. It had to be like a genius. Like everything's symmetrical. Everything's like going with the music and all that. No, I'm tired of it. And like I said, he's backing himself into a corner. If he tries to be more loose again, like his Royal Tenenbaums, like Rushmore, people are going to be like, what the heck's going on here? And then they're going to try to razz him for it. Like I know you would, if he tried to do something more loose, something with more heart, something with more personality, instead of just everyone being boring.
You want him to do reality TV? You want him chasing people with handcuffs?
Look, I want him to do the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How about that?
Exactly. What do you want? Exactly. You want the next Avengers? Right?
Yeah. Wes Avengers by Wes Anderson. But I'm just telling you, man, if he goes away from being more structured about everyone's boring, everyone's like literally acting the same with the same actors in the same setting, in the same period, in the same
kind of... with a straight face, you give this a C- in directing.
I gave it a 20. I'm not going to be too harsh on the guy, but I'm just telling him, watch yourself, Wes Anderson, again.
Again, there it is. The veiled threats, the thinly veiled threats towards Wes Anderson. Well, how dare you? All right.
Well, I'm just saying.
You're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to simp for Wes Anderson right now, much like Bill Murray in that movie.
Got cuckolded.
Look what you're doing to me right now. I feel like
while the directing of the Royal Tenenbaums, I gave it a 24. Like I said, it was more loose. It had more heart. It had more comedy because it wasn't slapstick.
That's sister love. Let's just get cut to the chase. It's the sister love that got to you, right? You ruined for that.
No, because it had more heart, guys. All right, and I think it's because maybe it was because Owen Wilson was one of the co-wrote this movie also, so that maybe that's why it had more heart than the cold.
I've heard Anderson described many ways. I've never heard him described as cold.
Yeah, right, like cold and destitute of like French Dispatch and Grand Budapest, while this one was like it felt more warm.
Black and white cold cells of the what was it, the prisoners art gallery.
While Royal Tenenbaums was warm, it had character, it still made you laugh your ass off. I mean, when Pagoda stabbed him, like when they got kicked out, and he's like, "That's the last time you're gonna put a knife in me, you son of a bitch." Like I was still laughing. It's just. It wasn't like it was just better. It was better in every way than French Dispatch.
Well, I disagree. It actually, it didn't even. Let's go straight to the X factors. Not that I know that you would have any kind of, again, your bias. You wear it on your sleeve. All right. I gave French Dispatch 5. All right. So it's not my favorite one of his films, but I think it's a solid film. You can go back and watch any one of the stories and like it and enjoy it. Royal Tenenbaums in general, I didn't see it first. So I had to kind of go back to watch it. The first time I watched it, I didn't really get it. It took me like 2 times to really kind of get it. I don't think at first I just understood his style when it first came out. And I don't think I'm the only one. There's a lot of people when it first came out, but I give it a 4. I still like it though. Okay. It's a good movie. Gene Hackman is great in it. A lot of the characters are good in it. Bill Murray's hilarious in it. And yep, there it is. 5 to 4. What do you got?
Yeah. X Factor for the French Dispatch, I gave a 1. So
here we go.
Like I said, it's nothing we haven't seen before. It's getting tiresome. I gave it a 1 because, Leia Seydoux.
You're a hater.
All right. Leia Seydoux.
Leia Seydoux. Oh. She's the muse.
Mm-hmm. Boobies, full frontal. But it's artsy because it's in black and white, right, guys?
Much like us, much like the nightcap. All right.
All right. There's not gonna be any full frontal in this. I don't want to
take your shirt off, Al. Give the people what they want.
And like I said, it's tiresome, man. It's getting tiresome. So I gave it a 1. And I like that you mentioned that maybe you didn't get his style at first. Maybe, a lot of people are saying that, like, they don't want to criticize the guy because they're like, well, I don't want people saying like I'm not sophisticated enough to get his style, or I'm dumb enough and I don't get it. You got to call a spade a spade. If it's boring and it's not entertaining, you got to call it. And I called it. French Dispatch was not entertaining. If the whole movie was just the first story of, Del Toro's character, if that was the whole movie, if they just stretched that out, would have been better. Didn't care for the second story with the young revolutionist. The throwaway, like the chef of like the police chef throwaway. I can't even remember that story. And I just watched it yesterday. All right.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
While the Royal Tenenbaums, I gave a 6 out of 10. Very, very generous. I like this movie. Like I said, since it first came out, 2001. I bought the DVD when it came out, 2002, I believe, when it came out, and I still enjoyed it. All right. And it was a lot different than what comedies were in the early 2000s. You had a lot of slapstick, you had Scary Movie, you had Nutty Professor and all that good stuff. While this one, I still enjoyed those movies, don't get me wrong. While this one was just like, it wasn't joke based. It wasn't joke based. It was character based. You were laughing with the characters because, but they were just fun. It wasn't like,
it's
singers.
The absurdity of it all, right?
Yeah. And like I said throughout this the review, this had more soul, it had more emotion, it had more personality. Just better all around. That's why, Royal Tenenbaum wins.
Look, I'm not surprised. In fact, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Because
is that right?
You're a caveman. You got no sophistication.
Oh, there we go.
You couldn't appreciate the French Dispatch, right?
I'm sure a lot of people didn't appreciate that piece of crap.
Right. I'm sorry. They're not. It wasn't the French Dispatch wasn't set in Long Beach. All right.
It should have been.
With all these little hipster characters running around. Okay. Sorry you couldn't appreciate it. All right.
Hey, I've been to Europe. I've been to Europe many times. All right. I'm sophisticated. God damn it.
I thought, but apparently not long enough. All right. Take a one-way ticket next time. Get some culture in you. All right. Total scores. French Dispatch give you a 76. Royal Tenenbaums, wait for it. 71.
Okay. So that's your opinion. French Dispatch, total score 62 out of 100, while Royal Tenenbaums 75 out of 100.
Okay. All right. About what I expected. But let's get to the people at home watching along. What did you guys think? Have you seen the French Dispatch? Have you seen the Royal Tenenbaums? Which one do you like better and why? Let us know what you guys think. And why is Al wrong and why am I right? Go ahead and leave the comments below and direct them directly at Al, just so we can know. But I like both movies. Both are fun movies. I am looking forward to see what Wes Anderson does next, to see what he comes up with. And
he signed that big deal with Netflix, so you're probably gonna have to fire up that Netflix again, buddy, when all his stuff comes out.
Whatever. I'll figure something out. I'll have to hack into it somehow. Anyways, I will say this. Cheers, Al, for indulging me, because he knows I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. And
again,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, hey, I'm feeling spoiled right now. But to everyone at home, let us know what you guys think. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And until the next time, cheers, everybody.
Watch yourself, Wes Anderson. Watch yourself.
Check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.